What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Hey, I'm UFC President Dana White, and you're in the ring with Callum McGregor.
To me, the Lions are the #1 rankings out there. Those guys are the ones who really do their homework, you know what I mean?
But this fight, I'm telling you, it's a flip of a coin.
We did not tap.
Let's go! Let's go!
We have Cyril Gane against Tai Tuivasa. Obviously, we have skill. We have a lot better technique. We have power on one end, and then we just have power, maybe some explosiveness and some initial agility in the beginning, I would say. Tuivasa, he breaks in the pocket pretty fast. Right now, the line is currently sitting at plus 400 for Tuivasa. It was plus 450 early in the week. It's minus 575 for Cyril Gane. I think the line's too wide. You have to either dig for Cyril Gane by decision if you want him, or man, it's heavyweights. I don't know, 5 rounds. Does Tuivasa touch him? I don't know. I think he gets outpointed.
Like you said, they're heavyweights. Any that big of a gap, you know, I would almost always go with the underdogs just because it is like. It's just one. If he just touches him one time, you have to believe like there's that outcome out there. I'm not sure it's gonna happen, but that's definitely a possibility. I mean, I would assume it goes Cyril's way, but who knows? I would if that's how big the line is, I would probably put some money on Tuivasa.
Yeah, I mean, when it becomes unbettable that way, I think Tuivasa is going to be likely by KO. It's going to be pretty nice line. But even the under 3.5 is minus 145, which isn't a bad spot. But I mean, Tuivasa can come in and explode in. But what do you see exactly? You see Gane probably outpointing him and lowering him.
I would suspect. Yeah, I mean, I'm terrible at making fight predictions. Anyways, I know I would definitely put my money there. Like that's likely what's going to happen. I think he just edges him on the feet. I think you could just point fight him and chip away and stay out of the knockout range, and he'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, I even think I could see a takedown from Gane at some point too. Tuivasa to overcommit, shoot underneath, get him tired, get on top of him, then run your point game later on. So, yeah, definitely on the same side there. Next fight we will jump into is the co-main event, which is going to be a pretty exciting one. We got Robert Whittaker against Marvin Vettori. So we got all wrestler with some power in his hands and a brick for a head in Marvin Vettori. And we have Robert Whittaker, the guy who, yes, he had the belt before, but he always feels like he's now the bridesmaid as long as Adesanya's around. But probably one of the most well-rounded sets in the game as well, too. Great striking, solid wrestling. I'm leaning Whittaker in this fight. That's what I was leaning towards as well, too. A lot of people are on Whittaker by decision. I can't see this fight ending inside the distance. I can't see Vettori beating Whittaker inside the distance, and I can't see Vettori getting taken out. His head's he doesn't really get wavered. So what's your thoughts on this one? How do you see this fight going?
I have to agree with you, man. Like I agree with you 100%. I think Whittaker's. I think he's. I mean, he's lost. Is he coming off a loss right now?
He's coming off his loss to Adesanya. Yeah, it was his last fight. So Adesanya was his last fight. Before that, he beat Kevin Gastelum and Jared Cannonier.
I think he's gonna be hungry to get back in there, and I think he's just, you know, he's been to the belt now, and I think he's gonna be too much for him. So I would have to go with Whittaker.
And right now, Whittaker is sitting at minus 235. So if you feel pretty solidly that he wins by decision, I think he would. You could even maybe even get him KO and by decision, just in case he does catch Vettori.
Yeah.
We're going to go over to Nasrat Haqparast against John Makdessi. Makdessi, someone who's been around forever, fought on the UFC 129 card I did back then. That's a whole generation ago. That's a long time ago. So Makdessi, solid kickboxer, thought his career was over. Comes back in his last fight to great success, fighting Haqparast, who has some solid stand-up, but is not on a good run lately. He's not. As great. I'm leaning right now. I'll give you the line actually on this one because that's I think one of the most important things.
Bobby Murda, 100%. I've trained with both these guys too, Bobby.
Okay, talk to me, man. Talk to me.
Yeah, I think Haqparast is. How do you say his last name?
Haqparast. Yeah.
All right, butchered that.
I butchered him too.
I'm gonna go with him. I know he's on a bit of a losing streak right now, but he's good. I definitely have to go with him for this. And yeah, they're both former TriStar. I don't think the other guys still train at TriStar, but they both were training at TriStar at one point. So I wonder if they've trained together. I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know if McDessie has. That's actually a good point. I don't know if they crossed over. I don't know if McDessie's there anymore, but right now,
at one point, I know McDessie was there at one point because, like I said, I was there when they were both there. So I don't know if they trained together, but interesting fight. I'm gonna say McDessie's kind of like past his prime, and maybe he's just collecting some paychecks. I can't assume that, but that's.
He had a good showing in his last fight, but I mean, it's hard to see who you're going to get. Sometimes McDessie shows up and looks really solid in kickboxing. Sometimes he sort of just gets lulled into, the soft kickboxing, fair, low volume, and we don't really see much that comes out of it. So, yeah, I'm a little bit on the half price side, but if that line creeps over plus 200, I may have to go with the vet just for the value point. But yeah, I mean, he could go in and look like this is his retirement fight. I don't know. You never know. If it's someone's retirement fight, very rarely do they show up.
How old is he? He must be getting up there.
Well, I mean, he was what? He's got to be older than me. He's got to be almost 40 now.
Yeah.
He's got to be in and around there.
In that weight class, too.
Yeah, that weight class.
In that weight class to be that age, man, he's been around.
And once you're over 35, yeah, you can start to slow down, and this might be a hack brass spot. Okay, so we will finish off with two more fights really quick. We have Charles Jourdain against Nathaniel Wood. Jourdain obviously had a little bit of a rocky start in his UFC career, but now has sort of taken on this role of this crazy third-round phenom that comes out and just bangs with everybody and wants to kill everyone.
This is going to be a crazy fight, man. This is going to be a crazy fight.
Talk to me about it, man.
I mean, I think I got to go with the Canadian. This is, he took. I mean, he's had a couple losses in the UFC, right? But he's only fought killers. He's a beast, and like you said, a super exciting fighter. He's always around in the third round, so he's always going to give a show. But I think I think he's going to put it together this time, and he's going to be a little bit smarter with. Early in the fight and try not to give away rounds, maybe like he has in the past. I think he's gonna win this one by decision, or maybe he could get a finish. But if I had to call, I'll say Jourdain by decision.
Yeah, I mean, I think Jourdain definitely right now, looking at if this was before his last fight, people would be really leaning Nathaniel Wood. Nathaniel Wood didn't look too amazing in his last fight, but he tends to win his fights by decision a lot, and you don't really – his striking's solid. But Charles Rosa should have been taken out in that fight. I mean, I think in his last fight, I think he should have won that one inside the distance. Just me, I think that was a lower level for him at this point. But then if you look at Jourdain, yeah, man, like he won that last fight. In my opinion, I think he won that last fight. I think that Burgos didn't do enough damage, and I think that Jourdain did. But the one thing that scares me about Jourdain is like, I don't care win or lose. I just want to go in and entertain.
Exactly.
That scares me, man.
You're absolutely right. That is kind of his attitude, and that's not the attitude. Like that's not the GSP attitude that's going to win them championships. If he wants to be a guy that's fighting for 50K bonuses, then mission accomplished. But it's a fight, but it's also competition, and until he changes his mindset, and maybe he never will, then he's always going to be a risky fight to bet on.
And I hope he does, man, because at the end of his career, I'm not going to be there. The fans aren't going to be there. Nobody's going to be there that saw the glory of everything that he did in the fights that never really amounted to much if he doesn't get to a championship. Some of them might be, Hall of Fame fights. You might get one of those in the UFC. You never know. But these great fights, I mean, that's fun to make fight of the night money. But you get better money as you get up in rankings, right? So I hope that he takes the fight seriously. Maybe even gets a takedown in the late in the fight and even tries to get a submission or get him out of there. So definitely on the Jourdain side with this one, the kids the momentum's a big thing, man. I believe in momentum because your team feeds off it, training camps feed off of it. In my opinion, he's won the last fight and he's on a 3-fight winning streak, and I imagine he feels the same way. So the last fight that I want to touch on before I let you go, because I know once again you are a very busy man, is Nasruddin Amivov against Joaquin Buckley. Okay, if you don't have a hot take on it, that's fine. Amivov, I just saw them standing side by side.
Was Buckley the one with the spinning back kick?
Yes, Buckley was the one. Yes. Okay. So right now he's like over plus 200 dog. Solid takedown defense. Amivov, cleaner striking.
Yeah.
Buckley, like just smoother striking, really simple striking, but powerful. Hasn't really knocked too many people down, but he has some pop in his punches. But Buckley obviously the KO is the KO.
Yeah.
The reason why I bring this one up is I want your opinion on just the fact that Amivov could take him down. Buckley's takedown defense is decent, but when he gets down on the ground, Amivov's time and his control time is a lot better, and Buckley can't get off his back as well.
Yeah.
So if it does go there, he's in trouble. But he looked good in his last fight, man. His takedown defense was pretty solid.
He did look good in his last fight.
He looked different in his last fight.
Like, again, a guy like Buckley, I got to assume he's got a great coaching staff. I got to assume that guy's doing work in between fights. And I got to assume that every single fight he's going to be leveling up his grappling. He's obviously, he's a stand-up striker with knockout power. I'm going to say he's going to get it done. He's going to shut down the wrestling. He's been working on it, I'm sure, every single day. I'm going to go by Buckley by knockout.
All right, I think that's
going against the wrestling, just like that. I'm trying not to be
That's
biased.
a solid way to play it, man. Buckley by knockout. If you want to be a little bit safer, you can go Buckley by KO and decision. But he's plus 215 right now. The line's just getting too big, and for how he looked in his last fight, like he looked like a different fighter, in my opinion.
He did.
So,
He did.
for sure.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
Hey, I'm UFC President Dana White, and you're in the ring with Callum McGregor.
To me, the Lions are the number one rankings out there. Those guys are the ones who really do their homework, you know what I mean?
For this fight, I'm telling you, it's a flip of a coin.
We did not tap.
Let's go!